Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Soulful Conversation. And today I am so happy because I'm joined by spiritual entrepreneurs, people that actually work with the energy, work with the mind. They work with everything that the universe offers us and the 3D. So in the 3D, we are a human. And if you believe in different dimensions, in the other dimensions, it's all spirit. And Endre, Michelle, and Darlene, they mix everything together so that we can have a fulfilled, balanced, and aligned life here on Earth where we live. And I can't wait for you to get to know them. So we're going to start with presenting yourself, and I'm going to let you do that because you do that so much better than me. We're going to start with Endre. Tell me who you are and what you do.
Thanks very much. I'm known as the Doctor of Self-Worth. I've been roaming this planet for over a few decades, and I found this brand about 6 years ago. And what I do is I help business owners, business leaders. Some of them are moms who are stuck in their head, emotionally triggered, at times feeling exhausted, and I help them to unlock their potential. And through this work of finding their authenticity and leadership, they're able to create results that seemed impossible for them before. And as soon as we go through that best version phase, they're locking in their mission and they're able to multiply their impact in life and in business as well. That's me shortly.
That sounds amazing. How about you, Michelle?
So it's funny that you started out with speaking about dimensions because I founded a company called the Multidimensional Leaders. And so it's exactly what you were saying, integrating what we're doing on the 3D level with all of our spiritual gifts and unlocking those as we go along, whether that is channeling, whether that is creative writing. It can come in so many different forms, and it's really about integrating all parts of ourselves into the way we go about putting out our work in the world. And so the Multidimensional Leaders is a beautiful group of conscious entrepreneurs. It's a community as well as collaborative initiatives, and I'm building a marketing agency to be able to help these leaders to bring out their thought leadership, their courses, and their retreats out into the world. So super, super excited for all that's to come.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So now we got the mind and we got the multi-dimension. Now we're going to have the detective that goes through it all. Darlene, who are you and what do you do?
My name is Darlene, and I have been working with energy for about 20 years. And I support people who are extremely sensitive to energy and help them navigate this world, because those of us who are sensitive, referred to as empaths or highly sensitive beings, we feel on a whole other level. And sometimes we have difficulty processing all of the energy that's coming in on top of our own energy and our energy fields. So I work with people, especially parents and entrepreneurs and healers, because we have to be so on top of taking care of our energy. And I support people with not being afraid to dive into those energy blocks that are stuck on other people's energies. So I help people figure out what's theirs and get rid of what is not theirs. And then the whole world is very different. So it's extremely important for people, everybody, to be aware of their energy field, and keep it clear and cleaned. And that way we feel grounded and we're living our own lives rather than trudging through carrying everybody else's energies on us. So.
Yeah, for sure. And what I find very interesting today is that all of you guys have passed the growth point or the survival point of having a business. And I think I want to talk about that today, because the people that are listening today might be in their first, like 1 to 5 years, they're starting their businesses, they're getting the information from the 3D, all that has to be done and should be done. They're getting the information of the spiritual world because they're opening up to this, but sometimes they don't really know what to do with it, like how to act with it, right? And so I'm going to start with you, Endre, and then you guys, chip in with anything you would like to add to Andre's answer. But what in your business was your turning point or the awakening moment that led you to fully embrace the journey that you're in, which is, doctor of self-worth?
Well, maybe I'm lucky, but it felt like it was all coordinated. And I had to go back to the past a bit. I had this very dysfunctional father and son relationship. I felt worthless for 34 years in my life, and I could not find anything that could heal my head, heal my heart. I traveled 70 countries and I've been searching for answers. I was seeking out spiritual gurus and nothing has worked. I went to Tony Robbins events and probably I didn't do the uncomfortable, or maybe I wasn't 100% committed. And eventually, 6 years ago, when I lived in the fourth country, Australia, my wife asked me when I had 2 children at the time, is it time for us to divorce? And that was probably the worst week in my life. I realized my health is deteriorating from a job that I'm working in 65 hours a week. I'm losing my wife and my 2 children. I hate myself exactly like my dad. And I was running away from him from Europe, roaming this planet to find something better, a new version of me. Yet I've done a full circle. So then I decided I don't know what it takes, but I will go through the most uncomfortable journey if I need to find me. And then I lost my license. I couldn't even do my work anymore. My wife told me, now you have to find someone to fix you here and really make a difference in the world or take a leadership position. And that's how it has happened. Probably it was 6 to 12 months. My identity was rewritten by a spiritual and mindset coach in Australia. And then I realized if I was able to take such a fast turnaround, then probably there are others out there who are seeking something similar, a fast and rapid psychological, emotional transformation and unlock life purpose. So I just started to serve people and help, and ever since I had people lining up and finding me as their support through their hard journeys and stumbles and pain and struggle and all of that.
I think I want to emphasize on something here. When you're starting in business, sometimes we're like, oh, I don't have money to invest in people, or I can't do this and I can't do that. It's so important to find the right people to help you, because we go into all these craziness in our minds, and we try to understand everything that's coming from everywhere and juggle with everything. So important to find the right coaches, the right guides, the right mentors, the right circles. And if at this moment you're like, well, I don't have the money to invest, well, either find it or find the free places where you can find what you need. And when we are aligning the steps, everything starts coming in as it should. So thank you, Endre, for talking about the struggles, because we all go through it. It is something that we all go through, even if you don't want, because life will happen whether we want it or not. And I'm going to shift to you, Michelle, because I know that you access all these dimensions and the Akashic records and everything, but a lot of people feel overwhelmed and they have self-doubt with the internal struggles here, right? And what would be the strategies or the tools to help clear those blocks and aligning to the true desire using everything that we get? I mean, I know it's a huge answer, but using what we get from the top, the bottom, and everywhere, because it comes from everywhere.
Yeah, well, I wanted to first answer your overarching question and kind of circle back to this. Um, because just coming from my own experience, I had the idea, the seed of the idea for my community business came to me about 10 years ago. And I even had a different website I put together. It was like the Social Impact Accelerator, something like that. But at that time, I really didn't have a fully formed idea for how I was going to bring it about. I still needed the skill sets. I still needed some pieces of information. I still needed to go through the experiences that I ended up going through in order to make it a lot more fully formed. And so that's kind of what I want to encourage people to understand is that sometimes a lot of us spiritual people might get the seed of an idea and we think we need to like accelerate into making it a reality. But the fact of the matter is that sometimes it really unfolds, sometimes over decades of time. And we really need to spend time becoming the person that's going to lead whatever business that it is you're eventually meant to be doing. So there's a lot of patience in the process of growing into that person, getting the sales skills, getting this tangible 3D skills practical skills that you need. It's not just the spiritual like information that you're getting and it's obviously the combination of the two, but obviously not leaving out one or the other, right? So that's just been from my experience, that sometimes we have to reincarnate ourselves in this lifetime several times to leave our old selves behind so that we can really move into the next level of ourselves that can hold, can receive, can handle what we are trying to bring into the world. And that's really an alchemical process that happens. And as we're building our business, we're going to come into challenges with partners, coworkers, clients. All of these things are there to show us what we still have as a shadow within ourselves to clear so that we can then receive better, I don't want to say better, but just like a higher level of client, a more easeful working environment, all these things, right? And so it's really about just seeing all the things that are around you and integrating the lessons so you can kind of move on to the next. And I find that every time I integrate lessons or I let go of shadow aspects of myself, the interesting thing is that new spiritual gifts come into play because you're ascending, you're vibrating higher. And then suddenly, it just happens one day where like, wow, I suddenly can smell spirits. Like literally I can smell, if it's like roses, I know it's an angel. If it's like some chipped paint, like I know that I need to clear that space, right? And that just happened one day. It wasn't like I took necessarily a class or whatever. It was an accumulation of things that I did to clear my vessel, and to clear my vibe so that new gifts would come in. And all of those things are helping me do what I need to do for my mission and purpose. So hopefully I feel like that answered most of what you're saying. So
It's really cool because so basically Andre said, well, I'm going to paraphrase here, tell me if I'm wrong, but Andre is saying maybe I wasn't fully committed. So here is let's get committed, right? And then it's a full mind, soul, body experience. Instead of staying up here and being clogged, let's just drop back into our body to be open to receive, which is what I hear you saying. And it's so important when we're starting in business because, like you said, we get so many seeds, so many of them. And it's not feasible to do 20 seeds at the same time, unless you're a manifester, that maybe you can. But most of us, we can't do 20 seeds at the same time. So it's like sitting with the seed, feeling the seed, and then seeing the plant grow a little bit. Some of them, they don't grow that fast. Other ones grow faster. And yeah, so I think that your answer is beautiful. It actually does answer my question. And it actually leads to Darlene's expertise, because Darlene, you are working with the energy. And if my understanding is correct, you go and you seek where the energy might not be helping that seed to grow properly. So how, when we are in the first 5 years of our businesses, how can embracing intuitive and spiritual gift enhance our experience, personal or professional? Like, is there a practical example or tool that you can share with us?
Well, first of all, yeah, absolutely. Being aware of our energy, and to follow what Michelle was saying, you have to take care of yourself, drop into your own vessel. So what so many people do, I'll start off by saying this, especially in the first few years, is they look outside themselves for their answers. And that can only get you so far, because then you start listening to other people's perspectives. And even if it's somebody reading your astrology or your records, or doing a card reading for you, oftentimes it's filtered also through their own interpretation. And what I always remind people is, whatever someone says, because we also jump timelines. So even if someone does see something, it doesn't mean next week we're going to be on that timeline. So always check in with yourself after talking with somebody, whether you find a spiritual teacher, a mentor, a coach. Always check in with your own body, with your own energy, to feel how that resonates. And do not ever bypass your own doubts if someone shares something with you. I just went through that a couple months ago. I trusted someone else, they incredible in what they do, and what they told me, I ran with it. And then a couple of weeks later, I just kept running into wall after wall after wall. And I stopped and realized, oh, wait a minute, this is not the direction that I'm supposed to go in. So what I share with people is, here's the nugget. Make your own health and your own energy the priority. So, ask other people, have community, have conversations. Brainstorming is amazing because you channel while you're brainstorming, and making sure that you are grounded, your energy is clear, you're healthy, and doing this every single day. It's a daily spiritual practice, which is what I teach, so that you're always connected to yourself. And you don't doubt yourself when you're doing something every single day. And still have community, but you are number one when you're checking in with what you're retrieving, what you're receiving. And you do that with every single day, whether it's meditation, body scanning, whatever that looks like, going into your own Akashic records, doing your own card readings. It's all about you connecting to yourself. And that's primary. That's priority over other people. And then once you're grounded in your own energy, then you start working and integrating what other people are sharing and helping you with, because obviously someone will have expertise that you don't have. But first and foremost is your energy. And then you can start seeking the help around you.
Yeah, for sure. And it's like what Michelle was saying, you start smelling the spirit.
Yes.
But you can't start smelling spirit if you haven't worked on clearing the path.
And if you're trusting other people. So you have to build that trust with yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. And when you are feeling blocked, when you are feeling like, I've done everything that needed to be done, I have done everything that I've felt that I had to do, and it doesn't work, then yeah, do seek out other people. And when they're talking, so let's say you go to Endre and you're like, Endre, I'm feeling stuck. And then Endre gives you his input, or Darlene or Michelle, then you sit and you listen to the input and how does it feel? Is it for me? Does it feel right? Does it feel, do I have to integrate this? Because the people, again, even when I channel and I translate what I hear, right? And like you're saying, Darlene, it might not be on this timeline.
Mhm.
So yeah, but seeking the community, I know that for me has been my biggest support in knowing at least that I'm not alone. That was the first thing. And then learning from people that have walked the path before me, right? But yeah, checking in. Thank you so much for reminding all of us that checking in. I'd like to ask you guys a community question, because as spiritual entrepreneurs that we all are, I would like the audience to know, how do you guys balance the demands of business with staying true to your spiritual path? Like, what advice can we give to the audience in their first 5 years, or even if they're past the 5 years, that might be struggling with finding that balance? Endre, you can go first. You're already unmuted.
I'm pretty extreme, and maybe this is not the best advice to anyone. I don't see any difference between my personal life and my spiritual work. And I need to sort of refer back to the 3 stages of, I would say, transformation or unlocking true purpose or a spiritual path. And the first part is unconscious. And the reason I want to refer back to that, because it cost me decades, and maybe I wasn't committed, but I was unconscious, stuck in the past with my dad's patterns, but I was so limited. I couldn't even see myself as creating value for anyone. So I think that's when one needs to seek help, and as much as possible in as little time as possible, so they're not stuck in, well, in neutral, if we're talking about running a car, because those spinning the wheels could waste so much time, energy, money. They could be out of business. So that next stage is, I would say, this best version where the spiritual path almost reveals itself, and that is so fantastic when it's almost like a small little puzzle that comes together. For me, yes, I spent over $100,000 on all of these personal development events, but this is beside the point. I just had a 30-year reunion with my high school the other week, and I found that most of the people are stuck for financial security in a job they don't like. They admit they should have moved out of 10 years ago, yet they have told themselves a story why it's not possible. So we have limited time. Take it seriously. I hope I helped you.
I know it helps me. I wish I would have heard all of these things when I was first starting in business. I do agree with you that our businesses, our spiritual life, our human life, whatever you want to call it, it's all one. Totally agree with you. Thank you for that. Michelle, do you need me to repeat the question, or you're good?
No, I'm good. I mean, this is an interesting question. I think if we're living and breathing, we're doing spiritual work, whether we know it or not. I used to be part of a mystery school, and they claimed that, it was only through their process that we could climb the tree of life, the Kabbalistic tree of life, which is, just honestly symbolic of, everything that we're experiencing and we're transmuting and transforming. And then I just realized, no, life is the tree of life. I mean, we're just living it, moving through it. So it's constantly part of what's happening to us if we're there to realize the magic all around us and what we're here to sort of as a test in a way to transmute and transform. So that's one thing, but I also feel like all of us go through phases. Like I had a phase where I was a spiritual tourist, and I got certified in so many different modalities, and I just had this curiosity for everything and anything. And so I was going through like a PhD learning phase, and that was like almost all that I was doing. I don't know how I was working at the same time, but I made it happen. And then there's other times where what you're actually doing is creating your business, and that may not look the same, but that's what's necessary in that phase. And so, we all kind of go through some phases, but I do think there's obviously some spiritual practices that you might want to have, or rituals that support you in your day-to-day life. And that's really up to you to decide what that is. I'm not here to tell you do this and that. It's each and every person has those things, the same as like going to exercise, right? You do the things that you love and is going to transform you and help you set up your day correctly, help you manifest all of those things. So it's about gaining those tools, and those tools can change over time as well. I used to do certain things before, and then I felt like, okay, they're not necessary anymore. I don't need to protect my boundaries as much as I used to, because I'm a little bit more clear in who I am. And just that presence in it of itself does not need to like clear things all the time. But it's a process. So
I love the term that you're using, spiritual tourist. I've never heard that before. I will borrow it. It's beautiful. I love it. Thank you for this. Darlene, how about you?
So to piggyback what Michelle was talking about, doing what you enjoy, it's not, we can't really separate ourselves from the spiritual business. And the more you step into who you truly are is the magic. It's when you try to be something you're not. If you try to be the 3D Darlene, as opposed to when I'm in my business, I'm going to be the spiritual Darlene. And when I'm, the day-to-day going to be the 3D Darlene. It's having the courage to be your true self, no matter how different that is. So oftentimes we may appear a little different because we see things other people don't see. We hear things, we smell things other people can't smell. I can smell like a banana bread that I was planning on baking a week ahead of time that I hadn't baked yet. But when you find the courage, and you do that through spiritual practices, when you find the courage to be who you truly are, and when you're not afraid to look or be different or what others might think of you, that right there is the key, because you're also going to have people, experts in the field, even if it is the 3D business world, they're going to look at you and say, don't do that. That's not going to work. And we don't necessarily fit into the traditional business world. We look at things differently. We see possibilities. We see, some of us can see the energy of a business and tap into the business itself rather than running a business just from the head. So this phase, especially in the beginning, start to trust yourself and find the courage to be who you are, even if it's different, even if people might laugh. Find community and be yourself in that community. And because there's plenty of us who are different. I can have a conversation with a cashier about fairies in the garden, and I've gotten to the point where I don't care, because being my true self is what's most important. And because if you're not your true self, your energy will show it, and it will show up in your business, and you may feel stuck in the business, especially in the growing phases. If you're contracted because you're trying to be something you're not, the business won't bloom and blossom as much as it can. So that's also the importance of the energy behind your business. You have to be yourself so you're not contracted. You have to be opened and receive and present yourself to the world as you truly are. And that's when the clients who you will magnetize and resonate with, that's when they'll show up also, when you're being your true self.
Yeah, that's so true. I want to piggyback on that because I had an experience like maybe 6 years ago, or maybe a little bit more, where, I was transitioning as a coach. I've always been a guide, and I was like, well, I'm going to try coaching. And I was listening to a lot of the things that Tony Robbins was doing at that time. And you know how he's always like, yeah. I'm like, well, if he's doing it, it has to be done. And I tried. Oh my God. It felt so fake. You guys have no idea. I was not able to do it. And I was like, oh, well, maybe I'm boring. Maybe I can't cheer people on. Maybe I'm not made for this. So why am I saying this? What you guys said today is so important. I mean, Endre, you said authentic. Michelle, you did talk about smelling spirit. I'm going back to this because it's not something that happens overnight, but it feels like it. And then Darlene, you're saying, look within yourself and be yourself. When I was trying to not be Tony Robbins, because you can't be somebody else, but do the tactics that he's doing, and didn't work for me. But when I'm very, very calm and I just listen to people, I do magnetize the clients that are needing me to help them. And I don't have to be a coach. I don't have to be a guide. I don't have to be what I'm not. I just have to be myself. Balance and align with my spirit, my soul, my human, right here, all one, all together, inside out. And I want to go into my next questions for you guys. So you guys have all been in business for a while now. And today you know things that you did not know 5 years before. If you could give a piece of advice, an action step, maybe an inspirational message to the people that are starting up in the business now that you know what you know, what would it be? And we're going to start with you, Endre.
I believe, and I did this exercise with my mentor about 4 years ago. He said, I want you to write down how you live your life, to tell me what you do from the morning till the evening, Monday to Friday, even to Monday to Sunday. And I said, what a useless crap this is. Like, what do I need to do? Tell me, do I need to call people? How am I going to have a business? And he said, no. You start with the end in mind, because your business should be set up to live an incredible life. That's what he said to me. I said, wow, this guy knows something. And I have written down, obviously, my best shot 4 years ago. And I have seen a lot of it revealed. So somehow I was driven by this wonderful unconscious mind to create experiences that I had put into writing at the time. And one of them, even my tagline is changing minds, changing lives. And I thought, well, my life could be about having life-changing conversations every day. And my family does not love when I work pretty much every day, because then I don't have to think about, oh, Monday or Friday or Thursday. I rather want to have at least one client or one meeting scheduled for every day. So I don't have to follow any kind of schedule, because then I just live life-changing conversations day by day, touching hearts, touching lives, touching souls, nudging them toward their their soul and purpose. And I really simplified it this way. So do this exercise and challenge yourself, push your imagination and allow it to come to you. I didn't say wait, you will need to take action and do the uncomfortable, of course. At times, get onto stages and promote yourself and work out how you're helping people. But this has really helped me to get clarity about where I'm going to.
Beautiful. Thank you for this. Michelle, how about you?
I love that with the end in mind. So true. I guess my piece of advice is, I feel like we are constant evolving beings, right? And the business that you started out with that you were super excited about a few years ago may not be the business that you're going to build as the next phase of you. And sometimes, which is what I personally have done, sometimes it means evolving into a different role altogether. And so I would encourage some of you, like, sometimes, yes, if clients dry up for you, it may be a signal that there's something you need to work on, but also maybe be open to the possibility that it's the universe telling you to pivot in a slightly different direction, a different role, a different type of business, a different opportunity, and see and be open to the signs of that, because sometimes I think people can be so attached to what they've created that they can't let that go. And it's a process. I do something called spiritual divorce, because literally you have to divorce yourself from past businesses and past environments and past beliefs about what you are here to do and create. And when you are open to that ability to reinvent yourself, then new things really come in very swiftly. But if you're resisting, like, it starts to get into disease patterns. You'll see all the signs in your body, essentially, that's showing and screaming like something needs to shift and move. And so it's about listening to those and accepting when you need to move on to something different. So that is my type of advice. And I have a quiz, and I know that there's many other types of ways in which you can start to understand a little bit more the way in which you're meant to come out into the world, right? Even though many of us have like coaching certification and healing certifications on all of those things, doesn't mean that we have to be the teacher of that thing we certified in, right? Sometimes we're meant to bring in something completely new. And that can't come in if you're just narrow-minded about what you're doing. So it's about expanding your definition of who you are and constantly learning about who you are and who you're becoming. So I hope that's helpful.
It's so funny that you're saying that, because when I started channeling, I thought it was going to be like a Merlin voice that was going to come, like a really deep male voice that was going to come, and I was going to hear, messages for people in a different voice. And it was my voice. I'm like, wait, that's not channeling, but I have no idea what I'm saying. So it's funny that you're saying that. Yeah. And I love what everybody's saying. Darlene, I know you're going to have something to say here, but I'm an action taker. I love to give action steps to people, because when I started a long time ago, my first businesses, I was always looking at what everybody else was doing. And I felt like there was so many people that were telling me, or not telling me, but they were telling the world, here's what you have to do, but they weren't saying anything, right? They were just like wanted us to, of course, everybody wants people to go and work with them, but they weren't saying anything. And then when I would take on their advice, I'm like, well, I still don't know what to do.
Yep.
And that's why here on this panel, I love that you guys are sharing so many action steps and golden nuggets. So today, if you're listening, re-listen to this panel more than once, because every time you're going to listen to it, you're going to get something different. Everybody here today has said more than one real action step to take in your business or even in your life. Darlene, it's your turn now.
So I was going to say all of that. So remember not to get attached to the first seed or the first 10 seeds. Be opened and alive, and recognize that your business is going to go through seasons. There are going to be times when you're creating, just like we are nature. So your business is also like nature. There's going to be times where you need to hibernate. There are times you're going to be needing to rest. And if you fight and if you're in resistance to the season you and your business are in, you won't find what you're looking for. You won't be manifesting if you're going against the grain of what your business and your body need. So don't be afraid of those times when you need to rest. That in itself is taking a particular action. So sometimes people feel like rest is not okay because they need to be doing something. They're going to lose this, or, clients will stop. The clients will stop if you're not resting your body. You have to take care of you. So your business will go through seasons, and try not to be afraid. Be aware of that. Plan for that. Plan for changes. And you can do that by making sure your energy is cleared every day. Do some sort of cleansing exercise. I do it simply in the shower every night. I clear my energy from the day. So when your energy is cleared, you'll have more connection, more access to the information of what your business wants, because your business has its own consciousness. Everything does. A rock does, a tree does. So when you're clearing your own energy, you're open to receiving the information from source and from your business. So as you're clearing and cleansing your energy, this is something that I struggle with, and it's so important. And it's also about how to keep your body from being contracted and stuck and nervous about your business, stressed about your business. Play. If I could offer two suggestions: play often and get out in nature. And if you do the two together, that's beautiful, because then you're cleansing your energy, you're keeping your body alive, you're playful. And that's when we receive the most information for our business, for our life, is when you're alive and playful and your chi is running and flowing. And then you're also in control of it. You're in control of your outside world. So that's what I would suggest to people, especially in the early stages. Be playful. Don't forget to play.
Yeah, thank you. So if I recap what I've heard today, be okay with having to step out of your comfort zone. Play full out, like Endre said. And like Michelle said, whatever happens is going to happen. So let it come to you. Be open, be receptive, and be receptive of everything that comes, but be patient with it. And like Darlene said, now that we've stepped into I acknowledge all of this, then play. Just go have fun with it. And everything else will happen. I want to thank you for everything that you have brought to this panel today. And I know that you all have a business. So listening today, there's anything that you like, if you would like to connect with the speakers, you have the handles in the corner. I will also put them in the show notes, but I would like to know what's going on in your business. Is there something that we can join? Is there a way that we can talk to you? Why should we talk to you? And we're going to start with Endre.
What's going on for me is I'm preparing for myself to university stages in the US. That's the latest big daring step that I have set out for this year, and I have joined the mentoring group and I want to share the message of self-worth, what it means, how it is a pillar for every area of life, how it is able to create mental, emotional resilience to then create results, consistent results. So I will want to be on live stages. I want to have similar conversations like this one. I just attended another summit this week, and really help changing minds, changing lives by public speaking. I'm happy to connect with anyone. I do have a stage called the Heroes Podcast, and I'm sharing wonderful transformations, people who have gone through trouble, struggle, pain, trauma, and they have come out on the other side, and they now have a personal brand, and they are living life on their terms, doing what they love, feeling fulfilled and joyful. Yeah, so get in touch with me and we'll have a chat, see how we can help each other on our journey.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Endre. How about you, Michelle?
Yeah, so I'm currently looking for 3 different types of people. One is for anyone who's interested to bring their work in a manifestation of a retreat and make that a profitable one, which is not always easy. That's in my former life. I did a lot in the event marketing space. So I really like to blend that expertise along with the spiritual practices and to really bring something special into the world. And then I'm also looking for voice activists to do a collaborative course with. And I'm offering referral bonuses for anyone who knows an expert and wants to refer them to me. And then just anyone who wants to join my community. We're doing monthly workshops on various business topics, and then lots of different kinds of out-of-the-box community calls as well. So would love to have any of you who are on the spiritual business path. Yeah, just really excited to co-create with all of you.
That's beautiful. And again, I will put all the handles in the show notes. Thank you, Michelle. How about you, Darlene?
So we will be, December 9th, you said, will be the podcast. So what will be happening consistently is a Facebook group, a Facebook community that I've created called Empath Power. It is for people who are sensitive to energy, and it's a beautiful space to come for community and to learn resources for energy, to be on top of your own energy, because no matter what you're doing in life, whether it's a business, whether you're running a family, or you have a career and you have coworkers, every Monday morning I do what's called Empath Vitality Workout. And it's an energy. Lots of people focus on their muscles and their bones, and this is working on focusing on your energy field, and the exercise is meant to do for the week. So I offer that. And then Wisdom Wednesdays in my group, I offer resources, and I often interview people about their experiences with energy, how they their tools and their techniques. Even if it's something like, I interviewed someone a couple of weeks ago, she uses essential oils to help with her energy and her anxiety and feeling grounded in her body. So I offer not just my talking and my tools, I bring in my community and share in that, because we often look at, business strategies and staying healthy with our food, that sort of thing. And not everybody brings in and integrates the energy element. So I bring that in, I add that in, so that you are well-rounded, and whatever you're doing in your life, you can do it from a grounded space, feeling centered and courageous and have all the tools that you need to do that at your fingertips. So the Facebook group is called Empath Power.
Beautiful. And I will again put the handles in the show notes below. Endre, Michelle, Darlene, I want to thank you so much for your time, for your wisdom, for everything that you shared here with us today. And if you are listening today, please take time to re-listen to this panel more than once, because there was so many nuggets shared here. Thank you again, everybody, for being here. And I will see you next week for the last panel of the season. Have a great day.